Eric Christensen with CBS Sports Colorado.
CBS,
Tyler,
I'm not doing nothing with CBS. Next question. Ain't got nothing to do with you. It's above that. They know what they did.
I'm here in Denver, not national.
CBS is CBS.
Coach Sean Keeler, the Denver Post. Happy summer, my man.
You don't like us, man. Why do you do this to yourself?
Football question.
No. Why do you do this? Like, it would be hard for me to really engage in someone I don't like or something I don't like. I'm just asking why. Like, why? Why do you always on attack?
Where am I on attack today? Where am I on attack?
I'm not going to give you opportunities to be on attack.
College football kicked off in Ireland today, where responsible sports journalism has been taking place.
I'm pretty drunk right now. We all know that.
Meanwhile, Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes just can't seem to stay out of the news cycle. Things just keep getting more and more wild about this team. From strange coach messaging.
You're going to be a man or you're going to be a great football player. Since you choose not to be a great football player, we got to make you a man.
To cyberbullying, and now Coach Sanders refusing to speak to certain members of the media who have been critical of his program. It's all pretty wild, and we're going to get into all of it. But before we do, please be sure to like and subscribe to help the channel grow, and turn on those notifications so that you don't miss an upload. Deion Sanders, whether you like him or not, is one of the most talented athletes in the history of professional sports. In 1989, Deion Sanders hit a home run for the New York Yankees. The same week, he scored a touchdown for the Atlanta Falcons. He's the only athlete to ever play in both a World Series and a Super Bowl. After Sanders' MLB and NFL careers ended, he went into sports media, working for the CBS pregame show, The NFL Today. Sanders regularly made appearances on ESPN and ESPN Radio Dallas. Eventually, Sanders began working for NFL Network as a panelist for NFL Game Day and the Thursday Night Football Kickoff Show. While a member of the media, Sanders didn't shy away from criticizing NFL players and programs, at one point calling the Seahawks receivers pedestrian ahead of their NFC Championship game against the Packers. The Seahawks went on to win that game, leading to this.
I don't know. That's just what pedestrian, average, mediocre receivers do. My man Deion Sanders, we all right, huh? We all right? Yeah, we all right. We gonna go to the Super Bowl again, being all right.
Which you could see why a talented wide receiver like Doug Baldwin would take issue to him and his receiver room being called pedestrian. You could certainly see why Baldwin wouldn't want to talk to Deion Sanders after that. But Doug Baldwin instead showed some character and sat down with then media personality Deion Sanders and gave him an opportunity to explain his criticism and to offer his response.
Why did you get offended when I said you guys were It wasn't a personal attack. When I talk about a person on television, it's not a personal thing. I don't personally dislike you. I don't think you guys are on the level of a Calvin or AJ.
You would say like Demaryius Thomas, Calvin Johnson, Antonio Brown, those guys are top, those elite receivers in the league, right? I've had 170 odd targets in 2 seasons, right? Those guys have that amount of targets in 1 season, but yet we still produce at the same level in terms of catch percentage, yards per catch. All of that is the same once you add the target.
Yeah, but ain't nobody got time for all that mathematics.
Well, see, we got time for it. We got time for it. If you want to, we got to talk about the fact stuff.
Which is probably how a professional should handle it when they feel like they're being unfairly criticized. Instead of hiding behind social media or running away from sports journalism, face it head on and explain why you don't agree. Eventually, Sanders left television and got into coaching. He coached the Jackson State Tigers from 2020 to 2022, bolstering an impressive 27-6 record over that time, including a 12-1 season. Sanders parlayed that season into a job coaching the Colorado Buffaloes, where his impact was felt immediately. Colorado had 53 football players transfer into the program, which was a record, and after a 3-0 start in 2023, the Buffaloes were ranked 18th in the AP college football poll. Unfortunately for Coach Sanders, Colorado would only win 1 more game the rest of the season. Amidst all of the chaos of the offseason, a video came out of Deion Sanders confronting his players about their poor classroom performance. In the video, Sanders reads an email he received from a professor complaining that some of his football players were causing issues in class or were skipping and or not participating in class. At one point, the email starts to specifically name some of the players, and Sanders asks a member of his staff to call out whether the player had a draft grade or not.
Where's Corey? You in here? Let me know if they have a draft grade. He has missed way over 3 classes, so his final grade will drop. Any draft grades?
But my favorite part of this video is actually near the end when Coach Sanders says this.
You're going to be a man or you're going to be a great football player. Since you choose not to be a great football player, we got to make you a man.
Wait, so you can be a great football player or a great man. And since you guys suck at playing football, I guess I'm going to make you good men. Which I don't necessarily disagree with the logic of that statement, but is that really something you want to hear from your coach? If you're my football coach, I kind of want for you to believe in me. I want you to work with me. I want you to help me reach my full potential as an athlete. I want you to guide me, to mentor me, to train me. Gee, coach, I wish we had a word for that. Not long after that, Max Olson of The Athletic wrote an article about the record-setting exodus from Colorado. The Athletic posted the article to Twitter X with quotes from defensive back Xavier Smith. Smith recalled Deion Sanders telling him to enter the transfer portal. Smith was quoted as saying, "I was actually getting mad, like tears coming to my eyes, because bro, you never even tried to get to know me." Smith also said Sanders was destroying guys' confidence and belief in themselves. The way he did it, it could have been done with a little more compassion. And then Shedeur Sanders, the son of Deion Sanders and quarterback of the Colorado Buffaloes, retweeted the post with, "I don't even remember him to be honest. Bro had to be very mid at best." That retweet was widely criticized, including EKU defensive back Jaheim Ward tweeting, "Bruh, you had 38 yards last year. Stop trying to downplay somebody." Another Twitter X poster tweeted to Deion Sanders directly saying, "Tell your son to stop acting like he's the coldest out there," and then putting up a 4-8 season. Deion Sanders replied to the comment with, "He will be a top 5 pick. Where's your son going?" This feud just went back and forth with players and fans taking shots at Coach Sanders and his sons, Coach Sanders and Shedeur Sanders firing back. It was a mess. Good thing Deion Sanders always handles criticism well. Which brings us to the latest Deion Sanders drama. This week, the University of Colorado informed the Denver Post that Deion Sanders will no longer take questions from one of their writers, Sean Keeler. Colorado said the decision was a result of a series of sustained personal attacks. Specifically, Colorado points to Keeler's criticisms of Deion Sanders with phrases like false prophet, deposition Deion, Planet Prime, Bruce Lee of BS, the Deion Kool-Aid, and circus. It's pretty remarkable to me how far Deion Sanders will go to not be criticized. He's already chose to not answer questions from Keeler in the past.
Coach Sean Keeler, the Denver Post. Happy summer, my man. Football question. Football question.
Why do you do this? Because you want me to answer you. So
Yeah, okay, that's fine. That's fair.
Why?
What's your why? What do you want to know?
Why do you always on attack?
Where am I on attack today? Where am I on attack?
I'm not going to give you opportunities to be on attack. Okay.
Can I ask you a football question? Seriously.
No, we'll talk about that when we talk about that. I'll talk about that with you.
In that same press conference, Sanders refused to answer questions from a local CBS reporter, seemingly because he was mad about the national CBS reporting something about him or his program or his sons.
Eric Christensen with CBS Sports Colorado.
CBS,
Tyler,
I'm not doing nothing with CBS. Next question. Ain't got nothing to do with you. It's above that. They know what they did.
I'm here in Denver, not national.
CBS is CBS.
Some speculate that Sanders didn't want to talk to CBS because CBS Sports ranked him as the second worst coach in the Big 12. Others point to Dennis Dodd of CBS writing an article stating that year 2 will be an uphill battle for the entertainer. It's kind of funny. Or it could be because CBS published an article about Shiloh Sanders filing for bankruptcy. It was also reported this week that Deion Sanders actually has language in his contract that says he's required to speak only with mutually agreed upon media. Kyle Bongura of ESPN went on to remind readers that Sanders has a history as a coach of using his influence to ban reporters from asking questions about his program. Back in 2021, a reporter for the Mississippi Clarion Ledger was banned from reporting on Jackson State a day after the publication released a story about one of Sanders' incoming players being charged with assaulting a woman. Sounds to me like that was just some honest sports journalism, but that journalism didn't make Deion Sanders and his program look good, so they were banned from the building. But sports writers don't seem to be going away so quietly. They don't seem to be so interested in letting Coach Sanders get away with restricting fair criticism in journalism. Per Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk, If the Post doesn't loudly challenge the decision, Deion and the Buffaloes eventually will be covered by a group of sycophants who would far sooner tee him up for an Affleck pitch than dare to inquire about a clock management error. Per Jim Trotter of The Athletic, Deion Sanders talks a lot about character, but his bully tactics show very little of it. Last year, it kind of felt like sports reporters were cheering for Deion Sanders. After all, it would have been a pretty compelling story for one of the greatest professional athletes in history to go on to a great coaching career. Now that Sanders is choosing to avoid members of the media who criticize him, it feels like the tide has changed. Because at the end of the day, the written opposition is only going to get louder because, one, sports writers take disrespect to the integrity of their craft pretty personally, and two, getting Deion Sanders to ban you is actually going to garner more attention to your writing and your work and your reporting than less. If Deion Sanders comes out tomorrow and makes a statement and says, hey, Mike Adams football sucks, don't watch it, don't subscribe to it, this video will probably get over 1 million views. In the industry, we call that clout. To be clear, that's not why I'm making this video. I'm making this because I actually found this whole series of events very interesting, and I wanted to share that with you guys. Deion Sanders trying to quiet criticism is actually going to cause the opposite to happen. But you know what? Good. Once again, when Deion Sanders was working at NFL Network, he didn't back down from criticizing players, teams, coaches, programs, etc. The ones he criticized didn't back down, didn't shut him out, didn't refuse to answer questions from him. In the case of Doug Baldwin, he faced Deion Sanders face to face, man to man, very specifically with what his issue was, and he confronted him. Deion Sanders, in a similar position, is choosing the path of cowardice.